Benjamin can have love for the truckie. Beautiful minds, but we love getting ugly. Risk takers with a clover, man, we love getting lucky. You run, we chase fire, I love when it ducks me. Tones go off, house watch, read the address out. 1075, get up off the magic couch. 500 gallons prepared for the baddest drought. Who else you want on the way when disaster's out? Can't even get a little bit rattled when you enter with exit apparel. Mayday, member down, they'll drag you. You won't get this from every Tom, Dick, and Harold, but here's a view from the top floor with Mickey Farrell.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of A View from the Top Floor. Two hands, two tools, a catchphrase or slogan that we hear quite often throughout our careers. From day one, we hear it in the academy, we hear it when we get to the firehouse, we hear it from career to volunteer. It's simply a reminder to be ready to perform on the fireground at all costs at any time. But I think there's something that gets lost in that translation to a young firefighter not truly understanding what that means. So two hands, two tools, yes, every time we get off that rig. Whether it be the hook or the Halligan or the axe or the maul or whatever your complement tools are for your riding position, most times, if not always, consists of two tools. But when we're operating on the fireground, many times we have to put one tool down. Now, there's an art to putting a tool down, believe it or not. We could take that Halligan with the pike end and whack it into the sheetrock. That way we know where it is when we're operating for pulling ceilings. Top floor fires, very important that we maintain where we put that Halligan. But you get it away, up off the ground. That way we know exactly where it is, we need it, and we're not overcommitting ourselves to that room. Because we're pulling the ceilings from either the public hallway, working into the fire apartment, or once you make that turn into a bedroom, pulling the ceilings from that hallway within the apartment into the bedroom area or kitchen area, whatever that area is that you're pulling the ceiling. But if the fire's above you in the cockloft, when we start pulling all that ceiling material down, lath, plaster, sheetrock, you don't want to bury your tool. You don't want to lose your tool. So two hands, two tools, yes, but we have to be able to manage those tools under lights out conditions. So we know right where we have to go when we have to use that tool, whether it be for a substantial object to bail out a window in a moment of stress, or if it is just to trim a window or take a child gate, we know exactly where that Halligan is and it's not getting buried. Now, flip the script. You come up and you're doing another task in the fire apartment or on the fire floor. Please, 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 don't be the guy that takes someone else's tool. Again, two hands, two tools, but we can only use one many times. So when you see a tool positioned somewhere in that fire building, or even on the fire ground for that matter, somebody brought it there, someone's expecting it to be there when they go back to use it for that next task on the fire ground. It's so important we understand this. It has happened to me. I was pulling ceilings, I went back to get my Halligan to where I buried it into the sheetrock, and it was gone. Let's just say that didn't turn out to be the greatest conversation on the fire floor, but it was a learning lesson for the other firemen. So two hands, two tools, know how to manage those tools. Another example, the hook and the cam. We teach young firefighters to search with the hook and the cam, but in reality, in real life, we're not searching with the hook. Now, some may tell you that we do search with the actual hook. I'm telling you from experience that it's not practical. If you've been in any smaller private dwelling, any project building, any apartment building, you know that crawling around with that hook and cam is almost impossible. So now we have to manage that hook. For me, if I had the can in, let's say, a fireproof multiple dwelling or a project type building, I would slide that hook right in the hallway along that door we're entering into the fire apartment with the hook facing in. That way, if we needed that hook for anything in the moment, I could crawl out, just grab the hook and drag it in, and now that hook is ready to go to work. It's pointing up. We don't want to grab the butt end because then we come in, then we're going to have to flip that tool around. It's so much easier just to grab that hook and bring it and push it into position wherever you might need it. That's what I do. That's what I find works in a smaller apartment, a project type building, in an apartment building, is sliding that hook along the wall of the public hallway. That way we know where it is when we need it. Again, flip the script. Don't be the guy that goes and takes the hook. The can man left it there because it's easier to search with just the can itself, using your hands and the can. We're searching for fire on the fire floor. Let's not forget that. And then we're finding that fire. We're knocking it back. Now, on the floor above, in a non-fireproof multiple dwelling, I'll bring that hook into the fire apartment because we're searching for fire extension very quickly, and I think that's a good tool to have. Now, the wooden hook has that blunt end on the bottom. I don't think that's a great tool for the floor above. I like to carry the New York roof hook when we're going to the floor above because now we can use that bottom part or that wedge side of the hook to get in and open those baseboards up and look for fire travel. So there is a rhyme and reason to why certain tools are on the rig. It's a great conversation point. I know my old company, we switched that. We had 2 wooden hooks, and then eventually we went to 1 wooden hook for first do can, and then if you're the second do truck, you bring in the New York hook so you can open up those baseboards on the floor above, as well as that New York hook. It's a steel hook, so it's a substantial object if we have to go out the window. We can put that right in a door frame or in a window frame and be able to tie off on that hook and bail out the window if we have to. I do think the wooden hook has purpose on the fireground, but I do think that the metal New York roof hook is more versatile, especially on the floor above. But again, 2 hands, 2 tools. We're bringing a hook and a Halligan. You can take that hook, you can hook it onto a door, you can bury that into the sheetrock as well. Again, just knowing where it is at all times, very important. That's something for you to drill with your guys, get comfortable, and see for yourself and why it's so difficult to crawl around an apartment with a hook and can. Experiment. Try it yourself. You'll see. If you ever watched any probie during an evolution of searching, he's searching with the hook and the can. It's very, very unnatural, and it's very hard to accomplish your task because you're tied up and worrying about how to carry the hook in the can. Again, something to drill on, something to talk about. Manage your hook and know where it is. Let's talk about carrying the hook. Know how to carry your tools and carry them ready for battle. That hook always should be carried up, in my opinion. Some may tell you different. Again, this is my opinion. But when you carry your hook up, posture up, chin up, that shows character. That shows pride. It shows the senior guys in your company set a standard, and they taught you how to carry yourself on the fireground. That's something being lost at many fires that I've been to recently, where you just see guys, they don't have the posture on the fireground. They're not holding the tools the right way. We should never take the irons and carry them on your shoulder. That's the first sign of unprofessionalism. Have the irons up, tucked up under your arm, into your armpit, ready to go to work, and you break those irons like a gentleman with purpose, with pride, and you go to work. Now, this all falls in line with riding positions, in my opinion, is that when you have a riding position, you have a set complement of tools you take for every run. And through different building types, sometimes those tools do change. However, you are getting off the rig, minimum of 2 tools, and you're going into position, understanding how to use them. Those tools become an extension of your body. So incredibly important. I'm so fortunate where I work that my guys get off that rig so many times in a tour. It doesn't matter if it's for an emergency or for a fire, they carry themselves the same way, and they carry the tools the same way. The way you carry your tools will speak volumes of you, your company, and the standards that have been set from the senior men long before you. I think a great drill in the firehouse, career or volunteer, it doesn't make a difference, but if you have a young fireman, give them the hook and the can and let them carry them for the night tour. And when I say carry them around the firehouse. You get a guy 2-3 years feeling comfortable, starting to get the irons more often, give him the set of irons and say, carry these for the day tour. Become intimate with your tools. Understand how they feel in your hand, the leverage points, the weight balance transfer. These are things in the moment of stress that will certainly separate you from others, is understanding that these tools are an extension of your body. We have to become intimate. We have to know how to use them. You know, we all know that guy in the firehouse that wants to become a contractor, right? He wants to have a side job being a contractor. I think everyone knows at least 2 or 3 of these guys throughout their career, if not more. They go out, they buy the F-250, they get the Carhartt pants, they go to Home Depot or Lowe's, and they load everything up, get all the tools, and they get some business cards made up, and all of a sudden now they're a contractor. And they look the part. They could go out and sell you a deck, they could sell you a kitchen, but then until he starts swinging those nails, you realize, you know what, this guy looks the part, but he doesn't know what he's doing. These tools, all these tools he has in his truck, he doesn't know how to use. He doesn't know how to handle. You can tell because his craftsmanship is shit. Same thing on the fireground. You can look the part, have the mustache, the cool helmet, get off that rig, and if those tools are an extension of your body, if you don't know how to use them in every element, well, that's shoddy work on the fireground. I think we all know a couple of those guys out there, unfortunately, that they, they talk the talk, but they don't walk the walk. You know, these are just some random thoughts that were on my mind, being that we got some recent probies to the firehouse, and it's fun watching them become firefighters very quickly, where their first few tours, they don't know how to handle the tool. They don't necessarily teach that at the fire academy when it comes down to the details of holding your tools. When I used to be at the academy, I would always make it a point to teach the guys how to hold the tools like a professional, because I think that transcends to what we're doing in the fire academy. When the guys show up at the firehouse, I thought that spoke volumes for the instructors in the academy in general, teaching the probies the details of our tools and the details of this job, and that they matter, and that there's a standard that's been set from generation to generations long before we've been there on how we carry our tools and how we carry ourselves. That ultimately makes you a professional firefighter, is being comfortable, being confident, and being clean, smooth, and paying attention to the details. Because like I always say in this job, the devil is in the details. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate the support. The things changing in the future with the podcast. I've been saying it for a while now. I know that, but moving over to my own channel, still going to be on the National Fire Radio platform. However, it's going to be View from the Top Floor channel within that platform. I'm hoping to get more content and making that daily content where it's more of an everyday conversation rather than just a weekly show. So baby steps, I guess. We'll get there eventually. So the next show is myself and Bob Presler. We met for coffee a couple weeks ago and pre-recorded. It's just a matter of getting that conversation uploaded into the software and editing it for you. It was a great conversation. We covered a lot of really good topics, so I'm looking forward to getting that out. All right, guys. So again, thanks for the support. I'll talk to you soon. View from the Top Floor, Mickey Farrell.